Hello, everyone. I hope everyone has had a good week so far. We are diving into really on how to. Last week we talked about time batching and really looking at writing those blogs. And this week we talked about the SEO. And in our other groups, we were talking about social media strategy. So we had some really good questions this week. Caitlin, you want to jump off with our first question?
Yeah, I would love to. So the first question was, why are header tags so important in blogging, and how many different header tags should you use in each blog? So header tags are really important for a few different reasons. First and foremost, it's kind of the visual appearance of a blog. As you're reading through any piece of content, unless it's a novel, you want to see things broken up into sections and bullet points and things like that. So header tags allow you to easily, or allow the reader to easily see what each section within your content's actually talking about. So it allows for kind of that skimmability. People, when they're online, they want to see exactly what they want to see right away. So the header tags allow you to break content up into more manageable pieces for them.
Yeah. And I love it on the mobile too. I think that it breaks it up. You know, a lot of people are reading your blogs on their mobile device. And I think that having those header tags and those different, sections, for me, I love it. It just makes it so much nicer.
Exactly. It really does. So for all of us, as you're writing your blog post or as you're going through and editing it, kind of see where you can bold things, where you can use those different header tags, and then typically how your website is stylized. The H1 tags, header 1 tags are the biggest, and then H2 tags are smaller, H3 tags are even smaller, and then sometimes H4 and H5 tags might be italic or a different font to really provide more emphasis there.
And so you can customize those too, right?
Exactly. So those are completely customizable. If you select like a header 1 or header 2 and it just doesn't look right, just contact your web developer or whoever's managing your website, and they can add information to the CSS file for you to make it so that those look different. Sometimes just changing the font color or the type of font that you're using can just transform how your website looks and how the blog looks.
Yeah.
But then that leads us to the second reason why you should have header tags, and that's so Google or search engines know what, I guess, the flow of your content. So what topics are the most important within your blog post. So we've talked a lot about like utilizing keywords, especially keywords as those header sections. And so you want to make sure that you are differentiating that content. So Google, as the robots are skimming through it, they see, oh, look at this keyword phrase. Ooh, this keyword phrase is related to that. Oh, and this one's related too, so that it can kind of piecemeal it together and showcase your content to the right people as they're searching.
And is there a certain amount of the headers that you should be using in each blog?
It really is up to you about how long your blog post is and everything like that. Generally, what I say is you only want to use one header, one tag, and typically your blog will automatically do that as the title of the blog post. Then 2 or 3 header 2 tags. So these are the main sections within your blog post. And then within those main sections, you're going to have subsections. So those are the H3 tags. And you can do up to 3 H3 tags per H2 tag, for example.
Yeah.
So you can think of it as like, depending on how long your blog post actually is, 1 H1, 2 H2, 3 H3.
I like that. That's a good, yes.
Yeah. So and then if you have even more subsections or you want to highlight certain points, you could use the header 4 tags or 5 tags and stuff like that. So really it's to help differentiate those sections to make the blog as easily skimmable both for readers and for robots.
Awesome. And that kind of goes into our second question that we had is, Are keywords within the blogs as important as they were? And should you be keyword heavy in your blog post? And this has changed, and Caitlin can chime in on this too, but it's important to have your keywords in the blog title, which, like Caitlin said, is going to be your header 1 tag. And really, it's that blog is more about telling that story. So I always like to tell our clients, we recommend really focusing on that story. When you're using those header tags, maybe that's where you want to utilize those keywords. Before, you were using, every other word would be a keyword, but blogging's not like that anymore. And they have a lot of different plugins and stuff, which we'll get into on that. But, really focusing on telling that story and having that good quality flow of a blog, and then go in and have your header tags have those keywords in it, and make sure that you are even keywords like with the alt tags for the images is important to make sure you have those keywords in there and those phrases.
Yeah, and it used to be people would say, okay, when you're writing content, you want 10% of the words within that blog post to be the specific keyword phrase that you're using. Now search engines are so much more robust and smart that it knows what related keywords are and what words are typically used together, so that you don't have to have the exact same phrase in there multiple times. You can kind of use synonyms and things like that to mean the same thing, and search engines will pick up on that. Above anything else, you want to be more conversational. So if you're reading it and it's, insurance broker 5 times in one paragraph, it probably doesn't read normally. So cut that out.
Exactly. So making sure that, you're utilizing those keywords in the right areas, and not so focused around how many times you're using them, but that quality around, maybe the story about social media management, how you got into it, or how you did this. So being able to tell that story and use those keywords in the right ways. And that goes into our third question that we had gotten. How many images should you use within your blog as well? And I like to say this, depending on your blog, it kind of relates with the header tags. You're always going to have your featured image for your blog post. I am a visual person. I like images within my blog post. So if you're writing a 2,500 word blog, you may want to think of having an image. Let's say you have 4 sections, an image for each section. If it's just a simple blog, maybe it's 750 words to 1,000 words, you can get away with the featured image and then 1 additional image. But it also depends on how your blog is written. What are you talking about? Obviously, if you're talking about recipes or, screenshot tutorials, things like that, then you're going to have more images. I don't think there's, you need to at least have 1, but it's kind of more of like that personal preference as well. Don't you think, Caitlin?
Absolutely. I would say, you should have at least 1 image per big section of the blog. And then something else that you can do as well is, with the Pinterest image specifically, have multiple versions of it and hide those in the code. So that's something, if you haven't seen that yet in the training, that will be coming up, kind of how to hide images so that you can get the biggest bang for the buck after you make them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, and being, I like with your blog images, again, it's talking about like that story. So I always like to make sure that you're using, try to use original images, as your background image or throughout your blog. I just think that it really allows your readers to connect with you and your personality. So the more original images you can use, the more lifestyle images of you or your team or whatever it may be, implementing those into your blogs and not being afraid of putting yourself out there.
Yes.
It helps build those personal relationships.
Yes, I completely agree with that. Absolutely. Now, one other thing with the images that we've seen more and more is, especially if you are sharing, statistics or analytics and kind of data within your blog post, for each section, you can create just a small square image, just showcasing kind of some of the information within that one section. And then when you have, let's say, 4 sections, each with their own data-driven image, you can then combine them into a nice tall infographic so that it's less overwhelming than trying to put together that whole infographic that just has so much information in it. Just focus on making like one square or one box per section and then combining them all together.
So now, and so then you're in that time, you're creating your images with your blog, for your blog, but then you're also creating your Pinterest image. So
exactly,
one shot, you have it all.
Exactly. Work smarter, not harder, right?
Yeah. Well, and then you can resize those squares into the Instagram and then do multiple pictures and have four pictures rotating through as well.
Exactly. So there's so many more places that you can utilize something like that.
Yep. Definitely. And for our last question that we had, this is a good one, Caitlin. What are the best SEO plugins for WordPress?
Yeah, so I'm actually just going to talk about one plugin that we use all the time, and it's SEO Yoast. I used to have a love-hate relationship with SEO Yoast, but they have done a lot to win me over. So now they're the only one that I actually recommend utilizing. They are compatible with, like 99.9% of the themes that are out there. They allow you to adjust the header tags. You can customize or create templates for meta descriptions. Directly through the plugin itself, you can submit your website to Google or Yahoo. And so there's just so much that you can do in just the free version. They also have a paid version that allows you to do a little bit more, like customize the descriptions that automatically pop up on Facebook, for example, for a post if you put the link in there. So you can customize templates for that or per post individually. But SEO Yoast is an incredible plugin. And if you have a WordPress website, I highly recommend installing it. And again, just the free version is going to get pretty much everything that you need done. So I recommend utilizing that. Now, if you have questions about how to install it, no problem. Just jump on into our Facebook group and post the question there, and we can put together a quick little tutorial video to share with everybody. And then actually, Amber, I did have 2 other questions that we received this week as well, kind of offline there. Yeah, and so the first one is we were talking in one of the trainings about utilizing a tool, Linktree, for Instagram, and rather than having your website linked in your Instagram profile, utilizing a tool, Linktree, to add multiple links to your Instagram profile, basically. And if you haven't gotten there yet in the training, no problem. It's going to be coming up. Don't worry. But the question was, okay, if somebody clicks on that link within Linktree, is the traffic going to be coming from Instagram, or is it going to be coming from somewhere else, or is Google not even going to recognize that somebody clicked a link? And I did some research, and it actually comes up as the traffic source in Google Analytics. It comes up as Linktree. So you can measure how many people have clicked on the links within Instagram to get to your website, but it won't show up as Instagram as the traffic source. It shows up as Linktree as the source. So just if you're going through and tracking where website traffic is coming from, group Linktree with Instagram traffic.
I love it. And we had another question too that came up in one of our other coaching sessions is they were using Buffer to schedule their posts to their Facebook groups, which is a great thing to do, but it was showing up as their personal profile and not as the group itself, or as the page. And so we'd actually, there was a way that you could do it, but with the changes with Buffer and the API with Facebook, you can't post your personal profile anymore on Buffer. and you cannot post as a group to your group as, using Buffer. So what we recommend doing is, because the groups now offer that scheduling tool within Facebook, anything you would do within Facebook is going to be the best. And so I would take those posts that you were scheduling through Buffer and just schedule them through the group itself as, the group rather than yourself. Right. If you're going to use Buffer, it's going to show up as you, and you want that engagement, those posts to be coming from the group. So
well, that does bring up an interesting point. Would it be okay to have some coming from you individually and some from the page? So it's maybe a post or two per week you could schedule through Buffer, and then the rest have it. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, and that's kind of thing, like if you have a team of people, like for our Facebook group, there's 3 or 4 of us that are posting in there. And so we want them to always be posting as themselves. So it's kind of one of those things where if you're using the team, you can still use Buffer and post as you, or you can just use Facebook and schedule those posts just for you or each person that's doing it.
Great. Awesome.
Yes.
Hey,
sorry. He sees something. He's on it. So those were the questions that we had for this week. If you guys have any questions, are stuck in something that you need help with, again, go to the Facebook group, ask your questions in there, and we are more than happy to assist you, walk you through those steps. Sometimes it's easy for us to just do a quick video and show you, like the link tree, how to set it up if you're at that point. And we're here to help. So let us know how we can help you and what questions you have.
Perfect. All right. Well, great to see you guys. Keep those questions coming in, and we will see you next week.
Wonderful. Thank you.